Should we go for it?
Yep.
All right. Cinema girl.
Cinema Squirrel.
We're back today to talk about a movie we went to see today.
Boy, are we.
The new movie, Good Fortune.
Yeah.
Written and directed and starring Aziz Ansari. And I'll just do a quick description.
Sure.
Gabriel, a guardian angel charged with saving phone distracted drivers, takes an interest in a financially struggling man he perceives as a lost soul. This angel steps out of his normal role and switches two people's lives in the hopes of changing one of their perspectives. What ensues are many funny and thought-provoking twists and turns. Can Gabriel ever put this meddling tangent back on its original path, or has he created reality-shifting chaos to underscore the idea that money equals happiness? I loved this movie. What about you, Squirrel?
I loved it too. And let's just talk about, this is something, we don't normally talk about the films with each other after we see them.
Okay.
We save it for here. But you did mention something in the car where you were like, and I think I have the same worry too, of our recent reviews or discussions have swayed to the what did we just watch? Not since was it our first review of Sketch? Have we really raved about something? And I think we're about to rave about this one.
Right.
Which is great.
Yes. I think we fairly raved about Twinless also.
Right.
But this movie is, I feel like it was pretty out of the park for me.
And in today's climate, boy, it was good to see a refreshingly smart and funny film.
Yes, I think, so we should mention, we've got Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, Sandra Oh, and it was also some little extra surprises for me where Leo Gonzales, I follow him on Instagram, he's super funny, so when he emerged as the guy repairing the pool, I was like, hey, that guy!
Cool.
And also Shoukath Ansari, Aziz Ansari's dad, who I enjoyed a lot in Master of None, is back, playing the dad again, a role he's just, was born to play. So that was fantastic. So yeah, you mentioned today's climate, and by that, are you talking about?
Just, I don't know, maybe people are struggling, people are not particularly enthused with our administration. I'm not going to get too political, I'm not going to get on my squirrel soapbox, but...
Don't put on your big inflatable squirrel costume quite yet.
Right. I'm not planning on going to Portland, but...
But I'll go with you. But,
having seen, After the Hunt and leaving the theater thinking, oof, ugh, wow, what did we just watch? Well, I was very relieved to see a film that just makes you laugh and not in like funny man fall down, slip on thing, fall down. Nope, this is like smart funny, and I really loved it.
Yeah, and I think I've been thinking, like, are we being too critical? These are just discussions, so it's always kind of spoilers. I've been thinking lately, are we just super critical? Are we ever going to be, like, thoroughly happy with the movie again? And I'm glad we're being honest about how we feel about things, because then when something like this comes along and we're like, wow, that was great, I feel like we're really standing behind saying that, because we haven't been saying that for every movie. I think this was so well written. And by the way, speaking of today's climate, I feel like it right out of the gates, it's not pulling any punches. I feel like the opening shots were like tent cities along streets. And
right.
Like, yeah, right out of the gates, we're talking about struggle. And the movie is so much about, for one thing, the gig economy, the app work economy. And that really struck home for me, because I am someone who has worked for Lyft, and I've worked for Instacart, and my kids have worked for DoorDash, and in my opinion, these app jobs are incredibly parasitic, and you know that someone at the top is doing just fine, and all the folks at the bottom are struggling, are at the mercy of star ratings, which definitely this movie gets into that on someone's whim, one ranch, 1 star, something as simple as a restaurant including inadequate ranch dressing could actually cause your account to be deactivated. Not to mention the delivery robots coming through in this movie too to further frustrate the deal. And it's funny, it's the second Seth Rogen project we've seen where he feels animosity.
I was thinking that too. It's like, didn't we see him kick some over in Platonic?
Yes, in Platonic, Seth Rogen's character hates these delivery robots and is always toppling them. I was half expecting him to do that in this, but
maybe that would be too on the nose, but I just appreciated that he does stare at them like, ugh.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody is gonna cry over this movie. But I definitely cried over this movie because the issue of struggle is very, very real, and I think there are so many people out in this world who are working, and it's not enough. And I think, kind of beautifully, Keanu Reeves' character, Keanu Reeves plays the angel, and he brings his just pure and sort of stoic, sort of like floppily stoic.
This is, almost perfect casting to me.
Yes, Ted energy, like Ted Theodore Logan energy. Like, I'm not sure if there are many other actors who could have pulled it off quite like this. And he does an amazing job as an angel who, at some point in the movie, spoiler, at some point he becomes human for a little bit. He's kind of put in angel timeout in a way, and he becomes human and gets to kind of truly experience what it means to be a working human. And he has definitely a lot of frustration over his own paycheck, and speaks up in a union meeting, and delivers an analysis of his paycheck and how he's losing money, and saying like, hey, I thought that your job was supposed to earn you enough money,
right?
For what you need plus a little fun stuff, right? And that's not the world we're in right now. And so, yes, this is a comedy, and yes, I laughed a lot at it, but there was more times when I just was sort of cheering for it, and there were definitely times that I cried. I cried more in this movie than I wished I had to cry, but it was just hitting home for me so much, because, and I know I feel like I'm just hogging all the talking and I'm just seeing a lot of Squirrel listening, but it really drives home just how much one towing of your car for parking tickets can throw your whole existence into turmoil.
Right.
That people have so little security built in. Now, I do hope that the people involved in making this film, I feel like they're all people who've been successful for a while. I feel like in making this, there was definitely a sense of being in tune with the struggles that people are having out here. Definitely felt like, I hope people are listening. And also, I hope that the people making this, that it's not just lip service, but that they also care deeply about this, because it definitely struck a nerve with me. What are your thoughts, Squirrel? And I'm sure I have a few more thoughts, but...
Well, there's, you could say, well, there are angels. Is this a very religious film? And it's like, no, not in, this is the caliber to me. It puts me in mind of, It's a Wonderful Life.
Sure.
Also mixed with the irreverence of, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Mm-hmm, it's there's some great switcheroos happening, And with that kind of level, like, it's Wonderful Life. You don't necessarily have to be a religious person to appreciate there are angels looking out for us.
Right.
And I really did appreciate, there's a line where it's like, Seth Rogen's had enough and he's like, that's it, get me God. I want to talk to God. Get me a meeting with God. And Keanu's like, that's above my pay grade. And I really appreciated that. Like, there are these tears in heaven.
Sure.
It's like, oh,
tears in his heaven.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I appreciated that the angel Gabriel is just the angel of stopping people from texting and driving. That was his job. And he's kind of fed up with it. And then we have people in the real world being like fed up with their lot in life.
Right.
And so there's some good mirroring and there's some good setups and payoffs.
Yeah.
I really just appreciated that. Much like I said in our review of Sketch, when it's smart and funny, I'm just, this is rewatchable to me.
Yes. I think, let's see, there was something you said that made me think about, all right. Not sure where I was immediately going. I will say I liked that. Oh yeah, just sort of like the rules.
Yes.
The rules, all that was interesting. The angels, the different categories of like assignments of the different angels was really fun. The costuming of the angels was great. I feel like, Aziz Ansari's style comes through. I also feel like Seth Rogen, like in Platonic, he always has very interesting wardrobe in the show Platonic. And he continues to have interesting wardrobe in this.
Right.
So I feel like the fashion was a lot of fun in this. I think the fact that Keke Palmer and for a while Aziz Ansari's character, Arj, right? They work at a place called Hardware Heaven. So we're sort of playing with, heaven, angels, but and kind
Makes
of
me wonder if they really wanted to call it Lowe's, as in we're at a low point, and maybe Lowe's was like, no thanks, we don't want to be associated with being at the lowest point.
Wow.
So all right, we'll just make up a hardware store.
Yes, societal lows.
Yep.
I think that so I like to think about the title, and I was thinking about the word fortune. So the movie's called Good Fortune.
Oh, right.
And the word fortune can mean chance, it's like luck, chance, but it can also mean like say the movie poster has fortune cookies on it, and when you have a fortune cookie, there's something that feels very like predetermined.
Right.
Like this is your fortune, like this is actually going to happen to you. It doesn't feel so much like chance or luck. It feels like predestination, sort of like you were born into this situation and there's no getting out of it. And then beyond that, the word fortune means a whole lot of wealth, So good fortune, well, Arj gets to experience being very wealthy. And much to the meddling Gabriel's dismay, switching lives doesn't immediately make Arj miss his past existence. Actually, he's thrilled. He's thrilled to suddenly be one of the people that doesn't have to worry. And I felt this so deeply that, the truth is some amount of money, just so you don't have to stress out, really is the key. I don't mind saying that this felt very personal to me, because as someone who has really lived hand to mouth for like the last 10 years or so, I am suddenly living a little less hand to mouth, simply because, and no shame, this happens to characters in the movie too, I have moved in with my mom. And that's the reason for that was more to be assistance to her. However, it is so symbiotic, it's so mutually beneficial to have community like that, and to be all of a sudden not shouldering so many living expenses per month, that the way that wages just haven't gone up. and having also been someone that's done more than 1,000 Lyft rides, somebody who's delivered food in the dark to the back of a creepy cabin in the woods, and the only thing that was helping me stay sane and not feel like maybe I was 100% about to be murdered was the fact that the person's name was Brad and they were getting Ben & Jerry's, and I was just saying like, really hoping that Brad and his Ben & Jerry's is not a murderer. Maybe there's something in there that just means not murderer, and yet why the hell would you make me drive around behind a trailer in the woods in the dark? And I had Squirrel on the phone. I was like, just stay on the phone with me. So the desperation, and then like say in the movie, Seth Rogen's like app, his account as a driver gets deactivated all of a sudden just because his rating wasn't quite high enough and they're going to be using the robots more. I mean, this is where we are. This is how helpless we are. So it's kind of funny, like I kind of thought more people would be applauding in the theater, and it kind of made me wonder, like, what, are you guys rich or something? Like, I was kind of like, because I started like snapping over some of it, and I was just thinking like, how is everyone behind me feeling about this? Are they pretty comfortable, or are they
I think so.
feeling this as hard as I'm feeling this? Because I was crying, and like the part where, again, spoilers, but the part where Arj is returned to the moment where his car is towed, and the guy in the parking lot's like, hey man, be like, do you need a ride or something? I got you. And I just cried, because really it is the community, it's the community that we have. That is the only thing we've got right now.
Right.
We don't have like upward mobility. All we have is community sometimes, and these protests that are happening and things like that. That's part of it, is just seeing other people around you saying like, yeah, we also hate this. And yeah, any kind of like tenderness we can have for each other, whether it's like making sure to give that gig worker a good tip and a good rating, and making sure to like have manners with each other, and not like canceling, ours is like, please, you're not going to get charged, but please don't cancel the gig, because otherwise I won't get paid, and it gets canceled. Just a sense of helplessness against something. It's not even really a job. Like, you don't really have an employer exactly. You are considered an independent contractor, and you're basing so much on this app, which kind of makes you this piece of flotsam, in the sea of like uncertainty. But it's one thing that you can, I guess, hire yourself for. So if no one else is hiring you, you at least you have this. And yet it can be taken away from you on the whim of a certain like customer's low star rating, whether they just didn't like that you didn't double bag something they thought should have been double bagged or anything like that. This is turning into a rant, but yeah, I guess I just hope the rich are listening, because this movie does end with a really important message.
Right. Yes, it does.
Yeah. And anyway, but I thought the pacing was great. The acting was great. They kind of did every possible permutation they could with following this tangent that they take. If you switch lives, but then what if one of them's in a coma? What if one of them forgets? What if one of them doesn't want to switch back? What if at some point we have a guy that used to be rich, a guy that used to be poor, and an angel that's now a human are all basically enjoying a swimming pool together? There are some moments of just pure joy and levity in this movie. There's a lot of great love of dance and community, and a lot of pride in organizing and fighting for something, and I don't know, choosing to be one of the people that wants to make change rather than being someone who's just relieved that they're comfortable. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think I'm one of those people that like, as relieved I am to have a break from like the level of struggle that I was having, I never want to be somebody that's super out of touch. And I've definitely been using like the some of the flexibility that I have right now for things that I think are important and are good for the community, and good for others. So I think there's just a great moral to this movie, and I loved it, and I am so glad to have loved a movie, and I think it's so impressive. I think I feel like Aziz Ansari has more movies.
I hope so.
Coming along,
Right.
and I think he's his comedy. To have like an accomplished comedian and actor, writing and directing and acting in it. It just the vision was so clear. I wouldn't be surprised if he was probably also editing and weighing in on the score.
Oh, no doubt.
All kinds of things. So this felt very personal, very clear-eyed, very like economical, and hilarious and true to life as much as it was a fantasy. Anyway, I loved it.
Me too.
Sorry, I feel like I talked and talked and talked.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Like, I think people are gonna see, like, your rant. That's how deeply this movie can touch you. I think the majority of people watching us, we've all been touched by a bit of poverty. This squirrel certainly experienced, the power company pulling up in the driveway going, "Oop, they're about to shut off my power." We've all been in these positions, and
until I got you those solar lights in your tree, and then you always had power up there.
And I really appreciated when the switcheroo happens, Seth Rogen panicking and trying to make just $120 by the end of the week, and finding out I don't get paid till next week, even though I've made the money. I need the money now.
Yes.
And that was really, really like that. I felt that on a personal level.
Absolutely, me too.
So they're saying stuff out loud that most people probably don't know about the gig workers.
And a lot of those apps will allow you to withdraw the money that day, but every time you do, they take a little back. So there's a fee. You can get it today, but there's a fee. And maybe if you're desperate enough, you withdraw that money a few times in a day because you just need it for different things. So that's several fees that come out. And yeah, by the end of the movie, because I'm sure you've watched it and you just want to talk about it. Well, at the end of the movie, when Seth Rogen's character sees that parking ticket again, and he has a different perspective. So I think like all the characters grow. Ours decides that he wants to, that he really does choose his original life, and comes at it with a new appreciation for trying a little harder for change. And Seth Rogen's character has a complete change of perspective on the people at the bottom of the food chain of these apps, and insists on better treatment, but also just sees kind of how awful he had been in just telling ours, like, "Oh yeah, you have a parking ticket, I put it on the table," like that parking ticket will break you. And not to mention recommending he goes to a fancy restaurant, basically shames him into going to a fancy restaurant, and then fires him over borrowing a company credit card to pay for it after you told him to do it. And yeah, and of course Keanu Reeves gets to experience, as Gabriel, gets to experience being a human being. And what's great about it, I think everything comes down to dancing and tacos in this movie. There's they all agree on that, and and he goes back to being an angel, but still wants to be able to take a taco now and then. But he, I think he regained an appreciation for his role as the stopping people from getting into accidents because they're distracted by their phones. So everybody has an arc in this, and it's really satisfying.
And Seth Rogen has become a powerhouse. It used to be like, you could take him, or at least for me, this squirrel, I could take him or leave him. Like, oh, the guy from Freaks and Geeks and Superbad and Pineapple Express, like that guy. He's pretty funny, but he's good, whatever. And now I can't leave him. I can't leave you, Seth Rogen. Can't leave you. The studio, awesome. This film, awesome.
Yeah.
Platonic, my goodness, man. So, yeah.
And he was amazing at Freaks and Geeks, too.
Oh, true.
Gotta love him in Freaks and Geeks. Yes. So, yeah, we'll be following all the Seth Rogen projects, too. Keanu Reeves projects, Aziz Ansari projects, Keke Palmer projects. This was fantastic. Congratulations, movie.
Yeah. And if you're on the fence this weekend, don't go see Black Phone 2. Go support this one.
Black Phone.
Black Phone.
Can't come to the phone right now. Watching Good Fortune.